What's up, guys? It's Double Room here, back with another NBA video. I'm going to react to two games, Warriors-Knicks and Blazers-Nets. The Blazers-Nets happened last night, but I didn't feel like I need to make a whole video about one game. Anyway, so Warriors-Knicks, it was a really great game for the Warriors. They played a lot better defense than they have. They played with more joy than they have. That's kind of been a big problem this season, the lack of joy they've been playing with. Steph had a really solid game, didn't shoot super well, but got everyone involved, created most of the open looks. The Warriors led practically the whole game as well. Like, it was never really that close. The Knicks cut it to 8 at one point, but then the Warriors got it back up to like 15 right away. So it was just one of those games that was never really close, and the Warriors were just kind of maintaining the lead. Like I said, Curry played really well. Clay had a decent game. His athleticism looks a little better, and it's starting to look a lot better right now. But his shot is still really off. And I think a big part of it is instead of following through on his jumpers, he's shooting a lot of quick shots, right? He's like, and you don't want to shoot like that. You want to shoot like that, follow through. So that was a big reason. I think that's part of the reason Clay's struggling on his jumper. He had a few mid-ranges, though, late in the game, which was nice to see. And he had a nice dunk, too. Talking about the athleticism, right? It looked good. Wiggins played a solid game, hit a bunch of threes, took a bunch of threes. DiVincenzo, I love DiVincenzo. He's such a Warriors player. He's smart. He's a Villanova guy, right? The Warriors really should just start picking up all the Villanova guys because Villanova guys, all of them know how to play smart basketball, especially since they're usually there for 2, 3, 4 years. So, going down the line, Looney had a solid game. Played Looney's way. Draymond played fine. The only player I really think played bad is Poole. And, every game this season, I used to have a ton of Poole stock. I loved Jordan Poole last season. He was such a great player. But he's just not the same, man. He's really not. He's struggling. Looks so small and slow out there, and he's getting his shit swatted, and he just can't. I don't know. That was one of the worst contracts. And I'm just so surprised the Warriors gave it to him, man. I said in another video, but such a horrible contract. If they could have gotten him for like 22, 3, 4 million, that's what they should have done. But 32, 3, 4, like, nah, this is not it. You cannot be paying like 80% of your cap to 3 guards. Steph Curry makes 50. Clay makes 40. That's like your whole cap to 3 fucking guards. That's just not how the modern NBA works. I think they're going to have to move off of Poole. I think I've said this before because they have to keep Draymond, and they're going to have to give up assets to get rid of Clay since his contract is so bad. So horrible signing. Poole just looks horrible. I keep selling stock every game. He just does not look good. But it was an overall positive game for the Warriors. Let's see if they can do it against the Rockets on Saturday, I think is their next game. So that could be their first road win of the season, huh? What do we think? Well, I don't know, man. They've been horrible on the road. So if there's any team they're going to turn it around against, it should be the Rockets. But then again, they already lost to Charlotte and Orlando on the road and Detroit. So it's like they already lost to all the other really bad teams in the league. So it's like Rockets might get their number. On the Knicks side of things, Brunson had a fine game. He didn't really particularly play well. He had an average game, right? Brunson had an average game doing all those pump fakes in the lane. Julius Randle played his, foul merchanty, physical bully ball type game while also chucking a bunch of jumpers that never go in. Man, he has a horrible game. He's one of those players that's just like, thank God he's not on my team, right? You just hate to watch him. RJ Barrett, non-existent. I really thought RJ, I don't know, I was really high on RJ. I really liked his his tools, like he's a 6'7" guard. Like, I really thought he was going to be a perfect kind of I thought he was going to be a great role player and like great second, third, fourth kind of option in the league, but he was horrible this game. And I was looking at his stats, and he's been playing awful this season. So I don't know. Maybe he's also got the payday syndrome like Poole. Who else? Hartenstein. I just love Hartenstein. He's not as instigator. He doesn't play as much with as much passion as I feel like he used to. I remember last year watching him play and kind of hating him because he was like, he was on the Clippers, right? And the Clippers were playing against like the Blazers or something. And he was just instigating, like being kind of like a fucker, right? And I really liked that about him. But It just doesn't seem there. But I still love his game. He hit a corner three too, which is big. But he's kind of the player the Warriors need. You know, he can rebound, he can defend, can set screens. So yeah, he's someone who I think the Warriors should keep their eye on. Um, Jericho Sims was playing tonight. He's just too big. He got so many offensive rebounds on the Warriors, like little ass. He got a bunch of putbacks and ones. Like the Warriors just don't have the size to deal with a guy like that, and it's really concerning, right? Um, Even though in the playoffs, it's different. A lot of those big guys get played off the floor, like because the offense puts them in a bunch of switches and da 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 da. But I don't know. It's just something to think about. But it worked for them last year. They played a bunch of big teams. They played Jokic. They played the Celtics. They played the Memphis Grizzlies. So they beat a bunch of big teams last year. But I don't know, man. We'll see. They're really bad in rebounding this year. I think they need some help. Other Knicks players, Isaiah Quickly had a horrible game. I really like Quickly. I like his game, but he played really bad. Derrick Rose, it was fun to see him, man. He's just a great vet. Man, Derrick Rose, man, such a tragedy, man. Such a great player for his first few years before the injury. But he's solid, man. He's a contributor, and he's been a contributor, and it's pretty impressive that he's molded himself into this. And yeah, that's really all my thoughts about the Knicks. Their offense is pretty bad. But anyways, on to the Nets Blazer game. Now it was a great game, super close down the stretch, a Royce O'Neal game-winning tip layup, right, to win the game. So, the Nets won by the skin of their teeth. And Ben Simmons had his best game of the season. It was really annoying, actually. The Blazers hack a bend, or hack a young socialite, right? And put him on the line twice late in the fourth, and he hit 3 of 4. He did get really lucky on one of them, so it should have been 2 of 4, but yeah, he got super lucky on a roll. But anyways, yeah, hit 3 of 4, so that was pretty big. Then he fouled out. KD had an amazing game. Yuta Watanabe, man, I love watching him. He's great. He's long, he's tall, he plays with a bunch of effort, and he can knock down open jumpers. He was like 5 for 7 this game. He really, really hurt us. Who else on the Nets? Yeah, Royce O'Neal had a triple-double. Ugh, jeez. How did that happen? Royce O'Neal. KD's call-out must have helped him, motivate them all. Who else is on the Nets? Yeah, yeah. Claxton, did his stuff. Joe Harris got a little hot from 3, right? He's been struggling this year, I think, as well. So he hit a bunch of threes early in the game. So, they played a solid game, won by the skin of their teeth, and the Blazers actually really struggled. The Nets' length gave them problems, but also Dame was completely off. He was chipping everything. Jeremy Grant, also chipping everything. Anthony Simons, also chipping a lot. So our 3 best offensive players really struggled offensively, and we still almost won the game. That's just a great sign always, when you can still be in games when your offense, best offensive players are struggling. And, what really happened in the game, right? Josh Hart played great. Nurkic played solid, a lot better than last game where he really struggled. Eubanks, it's just been amazing. And Winslow, I love Winslow. He's kind of like a Draymond Light, Really, he's Draymond Light. He's the most Draymond-like player in the league. Yeah, and that was Shaden Sharp also was amazing, dude. He had 20 points in 20 minutes on 9 shots. It was crazy. They really, they kind of iced him out of the game, which was kind of annoying. I feel like we, should have heat checked him a little, but yeah, he played great. Also plays great defense. Shaden Sharp, man, love him. But yeah, so the flow of the game, it was a pretty standard game to start out, some runs back and forth. And the Blazers then started to take control of the game in the third quarter behind some Anthony Simons buckets. I think he had 15 points in the third quarter. That's kind of been his MO all season. He really comes out in the third guns blazing. And, we were up 11 points with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And it was great. We're in a great position right now. And then this is what happens. Anthony Simons starts isoing way too much, taking bad shots for the last few minutes of the quarter, which allowed the Nets to get in transition and get a lot of easy buckets and they made like an 11-0 run in 2 minutes, which is just tough, right? Um, so now it's a tie game. And anything can happen in a close game. A 1 quarter game, anything can happen, right? So the Nets won by the skin of their teeth after a Royce O'Neal tip-in. Even though we did get a little lucky because Nurk had this and one to tie the game, but still, man, just tough 11-0 run. And if you look at the plus minus stats, it kind of bears out what happens. Maybe like Dame was like +6 or something. Josh Hart was like -3. Everyone was kind of in a normal like +5, -5 kind of range. And then Anthony Simons was a -20. So, that's one of the times where plus minus tells a good story of the game. I really think we should have went to Nurk more, honestly, because he was just bullying the Nets. They're just too skinny, right? And Nurk and KD were kind of shit talking early in the game, and Nurk just like did this to KD. He was just like, "You're too small." You know what I mean? It was pretty funny. Yeah, so that's my thoughts about the game. So now I have one more thought. So you know how transition offense is like the most efficient thing in the entire NBA? Well, when a team is at the end of the shot clock, right? And a lot of times they shoot it, and it usually bricks off the rim, and then the other team gets it. Now, this is obviously, it just depends on your philosophy. I don't know the percentages of shot clock ending shots, but I know they're really bad, right? They're probably like under 40%. So it kind of brings the question like, okay, so if your percentage, if your ability to convert end of shot clock shots is so low and which will probably lead to a transition, which will lead to transition offense from the other team, which is very efficient, is it more beneficial to throw the ball out of bounds or just hold the ball for the shot clock and turn it over? And then you can get set in your half-court defense. I don't know. Just a little thought I had. Anyways, thanks for watching, and Double Rim out.